Hello, I'm Juan Davies, Chief Creative Officer at KCET and PBS SoCal, and we're partnering with the newsroom of KPCC and LAist on a daily reporter roundup. Let's start today with you, Aaron, and the latest on LA's evictions moratorium.
Yeah, thanks, Juan. That evictions moratorium for struggling renters is currently facing a legal challenge from Southern California's largest landlord group. The Apartment Association of Greater LA first sued the city back in June, alleging that the ordinance unfairly forced landlords to take on the financial losses suffered by their tenants during the pandemic. The group later filed a motion for an emergency order immediately halting the ordinance, and they were before a judge today urging the judge to issue that injunction. Meanwhile, the LA City Attorney's Office urged the judge to keep the moratorium in place and argued that the landlord group hasn't proven its members are being harmed by the local order specifically. It's important to note that there's currently a patchwork of local, federal, and state eviction protections for renters, including Governor Newsom's Tenant Relief Act. The judge's ruling on whether LA's eviction ban stays or goes is expected within the next week.
Robert has a story out today that takes a closer look at the case of Anthony McLean, who was killed by law enforcement in August.
Yeah, the 32-year-old was shot and killed by a Pasadena police officer after he ran away from a traffic stop. Pretty much the whole thing was caught on video thanks to officer-worn body cameras and dashboard cams. But that doesn't mean there are really any clear-cut answers to the case. I talked with McLean's sister. She's watched the videos. She said she keeps looking and looking, and to her eye, there were better ways the situation could have been handled. So I asked 3 use of force experts to review the video and offer their take. They were divided. 2 of them thought the officer was justified. 1 thought that the tactics were problematic and that deadly use of force may not have been justified.
322, shots fired, code 3.
It's a really complicated case because police say McLean had a gun as he ran, but the videos don't clearly show that. Meanwhile, McLean's sister told me she's frustrated at what she feels like is a lack of accountability. She'd like the police department to admit shooting her brother was a mistake. She said she's not really angry. She's just tired at this point of the police shootings, both here in SoCal and across the country.
So we've got the election just over a week away. And as you make your way through all of the propositions on this year's ballot, you might wonder why California gives voters the ability to make law this way, to vote on these things. Gina has the explanation for that.
Yeah, so a couple weeks ago, I was having a conversation with my dad about the ballot and was pretty surprised when he said he usually votes no by default on every single proposition because he thinks that state legislators should be the ones making the decisions, not us. And I usually disagree with him about a lot of things, but I thought that was kind of a fair point, and I was wondering why we even have this system in the first place. I looked into it, and it turns out the system was originally created by a man named Hiram Johnson, who was the governor of San Francisco in 1910. And he actually wanted a way to fight back against corporate interests that he said were corrupting the state legislature at the time. So he made the system, he said, to give power back to the people so they could vote directly on the issues. But there is a twist to that, because some historians have suggested that the whole system was a way for Johnson to get back at his father, who was actually on the legislature at the time and refused to endorse him for governor. So to sum it up, it's very possible that the reason we have to vote on 12 propositions in 2020 is because of one guy's turn-of-the-century daddy issues.
Finally, today, KCET has produced a series of 1-minute videos on each of the propositions you'll be asked to make up your mind about. Today, we have Proposition 17.
Prop 17 in a minute. Prop 17 addresses voting rights for people who have committed a felony. Right now, people with felony convictions must wait until their parole is over before they can cast a ballot. Prop 17 would give them the right to vote sooner, as soon as they leave prison. Voting rights advocates say California's current law restricts voting mainly for people of color and the poor, who make up a big chunk of the prison population. Among the major supporters of Prop 17 are the ACLU of California and the League of Women Voters. Critics include the Election Integrity Project California, who say making convicts wait until their parole is over is an incentive to make them follow the rules. So, a yes vote gives current parolees the right to vote sooner. A no vote keeps things as is.
To see more propositions, please go to kcet.org/vote2020. Thank you for tuning in. We will see you tomorrow.